Hi everyone, today I'm going to be talking about how you can create the fittest body you have ever had. But before I start with my little teach, I just want to give you a background story about myself. As I know there's lots of people that are new to the group, so they might not know my story. So I come from a family of obese people. Like my mom and dad have always been overweight. They've never really done anything about their health. Like they never exercised, they never, went on a diet or thought about eating healthily, nothing like that at all. And my brother has always had major health issues, weight issues since he was probably about 10 years old. So I grew up in a family that didn't really understand the concept of health. And my dad also got diabetes when he was about 40. My mom at about 40 my age, she did she had a tummy tuck done. So I mean there was no conversation whatsoever about should we change our diet, should we eat healthier, should we exercise, nothing like that. So for me, being thin, it has never been easy. It has never come naturally, even though, when you look at pictures today, you think, oh my God, she's, it's so easy for her, right? It's perfect for her. It must have been really easy to keep this body. So it's not like that. I have always kind of cheated my way through staying thin in my 20s, up to my 20s, in my teenagers to my 20s. Because in Brazil, like if you were overweight back then, it was really not something that you would see a lot. People would be even ashamed to go out because it's a culture where people are very focused on how you look on the outside. So that pressure was always there. So I kind of cheated my way through just staying thin, skipping maybe dinner and eating like a pack of chocolate biscuits, and kind of silly things like that. So when I was in my 20s, I moved to Europe and I put on 10 kgs, and that was probably in a very short period of time, and it was probably the heaviest that I've ever had been in my life, and it was incredibly uncomfortable. I used to feel like my legs rubbing on each other, like it was just not a great feeling. Then I, in my 30s, I had my kids, and I had my kids back to back. Kind of, there's only a 2 years difference. And after I had done all the breastfeeding and all of that, I remember looking myself in the mirror, and I was just kind of a year before my cancer diagnosis. And I thought, oh my God, I look gross. Like, this is disgusting. Like, I look bloated. I've got cellulites everywhere. Is this it? Like, is this it? Like, growing old? Do I have to accept this? Is my husband, seeing this, what I'm seeing right now? And, as usual, I just looked at myself in the mirror and felt really depressed and unhappy about how I was and how I looked, but I wasn't prepared to do anything about it. So I didn't do anything about it. Just kept living in the same way, eating the same things, not exercising, doing the same things. And then I was diagnosed with cancer. So, of course, the diagnosis was a pretty serious diagnosis. It was stage 3B, had spread to my lymph nodes. So my primarily focus when I started my health journey wasn't weight. It wasn't, getting a six-pack, and it was nothing like that, okay? My primary focus was to survive for my kids and to create long-term health. So at 44 years old, I feel the healthiest I have ever been. And I never imagined I was going to be able to build the body that I have today. So I think, that really shows that the focus that we have on the weight, if you're hopping on your scales every single day, if all you do is obsess about your weight, it's probably why it's not working for you. Okay, so that it's the first thing that I'll see and that I have seen in my clients. This obsession that we have with weight in our society, is really detrimental to losing weight journey. Okay, so for me, that was never I never thought about that. And again, I have had clients that came to me with pretty serious diseases, and they still focusing on weight loss, which is pretty incredible to me. But I think that's the way that we have been conditioned to survive in this society. In saying that, I don't think you can be overweight and healthy, right? Our body is not made to carry the extra weight that most people are carrying these days. You're putting a lot of pressure on your organs, putting a lot of pressure on your joints, and this is leading to disease, right? And we're talking about what they call now, the fancy name, the metabolic diseases, which are type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, heart disease, all of this stuff that pretty much 1 in 3 people are being diagnosed with, including, cancer as well. So I really believe that staying lean, it is a way forward if you want to have a long and healthy life. And this is why I stay lean. So for me, that is still my motivation. Okay, when I was diagnosed with cancer, I remember talking to a girl who had just been through the cancer treatment that I went through, and she said, Angelica, I went through this treatment with 10 other girls, and they all put on between 10 to 25 kgs during the treatment. And she said, including myself. So I was like, whoa, like this is like crazy. I do not want to finish this treatment with 25 kgs on top of my body weight right now, right? I know for a fact that this is not going to be good for me. So that was a really big wake-up call. And I think what people don't realize is that cancer treatment make people more overweight than make people lose weight, right? The idea that people go through cancer treatment, they start losing weight, it's not really the reality of it. The reality of it is that you are pumped with steroids, and the steroids make you feel bloated, make you want to eat more, and all of the things that overweight people complain that they have. That is the train that you get onto through chemotherapy treatment. And of course, you are bombarded with chemicals in your body. And on top of that, I know that somebody talked about menopause. I had a bleeding that I almost died during cancer treatment, and I was put on a drug to make me go into menopause because they thought I was going to go naturally with the chemotherapy, but I didn't. I had a bleeding that almost killed me, so they couldn't afford me to have that again. So I was put on a drug to be on to force my body to be on menopause. So I experienced some of the symptoms, but at that time I was already changing what I was doing. So the symptoms were very, very minimum. So what I can say to people that are watching this and they're going through menopause is that it's possible for you to lose weight, it's possible for you to keep healthy, it's possible for you to not have the symptoms that you're having right now. So instead of focusing on what's not possible, because the majority of people will be gaining weight, having the hot flushes and having all this stuff, the majority of people will be having that, but that doesn't mean that you have to have that. Okay, so that is another mindset shift that I think that is important to highlight. And in the same way as during cancer treatment, a lot of people gain weight, but I chose not to be that person. Okay, so now I want to get into more like the actual practical tools that I did change during cancer, and it was all during cancer treatment. I never changed anything overnight. Everything that I did, it was gradually. A lot of people that want to lose weight, they want to lose weight quickly, and they want to make drastic changes, and then what happens is they can't keep to those changes because they're most likely not sustainable,
and then they go back to their old ways and they gain their weight back even more. I did not do anything extreme. I did not starve myself. I did not do any fasting. I did not do anything like that. If anything, I was eating a lot. I ate 3 meals a day, 2 snacks, because I felt sick all the time. So I never did anything like that. Slowly, I changed my diet from having some things that came from packages and, from jars and things like that, to having none of it, right? I cook everything from scratch, and I still do today. And, everything that I cook is homemade. And I think that is a big difference, right? So you might be thinking, Angelica, I can't do that. I haven't got the time. So you really need to ask yourself a question and know what it is really what you want. Um, and I really don't think that you can eat out all the time and lose weight, even though I did have a client that was in transition between houses and she couldn't cook at a time. And, we kind of put a plan together for that particular time in her life. And she did lose weight by making better choices, which kind of inspired me to record a video on my program, about eating out. But in saying that, if the goal is to keep losing weight and that long-term health, eating out is probably not going to be the solution for you or for anyone. Because when you're eating out, you actually don't know what's in the food, and it's most likely it's full of sugar, shortcuts so they can make money out of it. And, personally, I don't think that I want that in my body. So, cooking from scratch and moving from anything that was like, made, from packages, moving to cooking homemade meals, it was a big difference for me. The second thing was moving towards eating more vegetables and more fruits, legumes, and nuts and seeds. Now, I'm not here to preach that everybody needs to eat a plant-based diet. I eat a plant-based diet, and I feel that after all the research that I've done, I spent 7.5 months reading about nutrition and researching a lot. It is the most anti-inflammatory diet. I don't care about anything else other than reducing inflammation in my body. So this is the reason why I chose to eat a plant-based diet. And again, I have worked with many clients that just by making the decision of introducing more vegetables to their diet and not having animal product in every single meal, they have lost weight. So, most of the Western society are having an animal product for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and beyond, and there is no space or time to eating enough vegetables. So that is a big problem, because what's happening is inside their gut, they don't have the variety that it's needed for you to create that good balance of good bacteria and bad bacteria. And you're just having, if you think about just one thing, too much of one thing, right? um and on top of that, what happens with that as well is that most people that are overweight, they have a compromised liver, and the liver is the organ that breaks down fat. And if you are constantly eating more fat, and people having, the compromised liver because they have had that fat around their tummies for way too long, they have been overweight for most of their life, they are being exposed to lots of toxins, like things like, chemicals in our food, cosmetics, water, environment, you name it. Medication is a big thing. If you've been on medication for too long, your liver is having to work really hard to detox from that medication, so it leaves the liver less power to break down fat. And if all you're eating is fat, it becomes even harder for the liver to keep breaking down fat. So for me, it's very important that I always relieve my liver from any pressure that I could be putting on my liver, right? And therefore, eating a plant-based diet, which is low in fat. Now, there's fats that I eat, like avocados, olive oil, olives, and things like that, but or nuts, but not the amount of animal product that I used to eat. Okay, so so that is the second thing that I did. Now the third thing that I did was exercise consistently. Again, I did not go to boot camp. I did not do anything crazy. I did things as I could because I was doing chemo, walking, then on my bike, and I did things as I got stronger. I did a little bit more of it. Okay, um, and the exercise is only 20% of losing weight. People that are going hardcore on like cardios and 45 minutes boot camp and thinking that they're going to lose weight by doing that, and not addressing 100% of their diet, they are not going to be able to lose weight, because 80% of losing weight, it is what you eat. Okay, it is the foundation of health, body, mind, all together, because what's happening in your gut is what's the flow effect of everything that is going to be positive or negative in your health. So if your gut, it just has, like I said, too much of one thing, it can't really you can't really grow this beautiful garden that it is inside your gut, to start making the pharmacy of your body work as a well-oiled machine. Okay, so that is why the food is number one, and exercise and is 80%, and exercise will be just a 20% there. I don't do any cardio now. I do weights 2 to 3 times a week, and I do yoga all the other days 4 times a week. Um, and I have been doing that for a lot of years now. The weight is important, especially for women, because as we age, we need to keep putting pressure on our bones, so our bones keep being stronger. And for me, the yoga is everything. That whole body mind connection that helped me so much to heal. Again, as you age, I believe that you have to be constantly stretching and constantly moving the energy around your body, because we do have a tendency as we age to hold more tightness and blocked energy in our bodies. So the yoga helps with that. And if you think about somebody who's overweight, they have had blocked energy for a long time in their bodies. So the third thing that I want to talk about, so basically, the first one was so eating a more vegetables and fruit and legumes and nuts, and reducing the amount of animal product that you eat. Making a slow graduation towards that, and cooking from home. And the third one was exercising. For me, no cardio, weights, and yoga. Now, when we talk about people being overweight, there has been a study, which is it is the biggest study around why people, um, get overweight, and why can't they lose weight. Which is I forgot his name now. Is Dr. Philip. He started helping people losing weight, and he realized that people couldn't sustain that weight loss. And it came down that when he talked to them, it all came down to an emotional part of themselves that they hadn't healed, and they would go back to eating for comfort, or for love, or for whatever it was. Now, of course, it's kind of an epidemic these days. There is more people alone and feeling lonely than ever in the world these days. There's so many talks about trauma, and even though there are talks about it, our obesity problem is only getting worse. So it seems to me that, the tools are out there, but the implementation is always where the issue is. Now, what I want to say about this is that if you have been overweight your whole life, right? I see the kids in my kids' school. My son is 12. By the time he was about 10, I could see that the kids were starting to get chubby and they started to get overweight. And the truth is, that overweight child is most likely going to become an overweight adult, and that overweight adult is going to have lots of issues to lose weight, because by the time you're 20, you have been overweight for 10 years. By the time you're 30, you have been overweight for 20 years. Now, our bodies is very resilient, and it get used to whatever thing we do with the body. So if you have been on that for 20 years, your body is just trying to survive with that. And if you think about the chemistry behind that, is that there are so many things that are dysregulated by the time you've been like that for 10 years. So the idea that you're going to be able to lose weight overnight, especially when it comes to things like shakes and, supplements and, those kind of magic pills that people buy into, it is an illusion, and I think that is important to highlight that, if you have been overweight your whole life, it's going to take some time for you to lose weight, right? Because your body has been used to being in that survival, because when you are overweight, there is a lot of pressure in your body. Your body's been in survival for a very long time. So it is a process to teach your body again that it's okay, to be in a different way. Okay, and that will be through food, through exercise, and of course through the emotional side of things. And when I talk about the emotional side of things, is that, again, I have worked with so many people that, they're doing all the right things, but they're stressed to the bone and they don't sleep. So you could be eating the best diet and you could be exercising every day. If that's where you're at, you're probably not going to lose weight. So weight loss is addressing every part of your life, right? It's really the sleep. It's extremely important. If you're not resting, next day your body's in survival again. What are your body's going to do? What it knows what to do is to keep the fat. Okay, so just think about all of those things. Everything that we do has a flow effect on the weight loss, and it's not about the weight loss. It is about looking holistically at, what got me to where I am today, and acknowledging that, honoring that, understanding that, which is, exactly what I talk about in my book. The realization that I had, what got me to a cancer diagnosis today, what got me to kind of be fighting for my life today, is that realization. And it wasn't only physical, it was mental, it was emotional. Okay. And I go through that in my book because I think it's so important for people to stop focusing on just the diet and exercise. That if there was all there was, the world would be skinny as. But we are facing the biggest problem in our society. People are so overweight now that it's, the doctors and nobody knows what to do with these people, right? They're trying to come up with things, but there is no solution whatsoever apart from taking personal responsibility, in my opinion. Okay. And it is not a one size fits all, in the sense of, it's not just diet and exercise. It is a combination of things. Okay. So, okay, guys, I've got another call. If you guys think this was valuable, let me know in the comment below. if you are looking to create health in your body and in your mind, in your soul, in a holistic way, DM me and we can have a chat to see if I can help you. But for me, it's important that you come with the mentality that this is, the weight loss or whatever your goals are. It is potentially a problem that you have been experiencing for your whole life, and is not a one-dimensional solution, right? Is an openness to understand that I have had enough of being overweight, or being unwell, or feeling uncomfortable, or feeling not confident, or feeling like I don't have any energy, or whatever it is that you're going through, and thinking, I am prepared to solve this and seeing this from a different perspective. I think if you have been in my world, you know that my perspective has always been, there isn't a magic pill, but you are incredibly powerful. So when people tell me like, oh, like I can't do this, for me, it's very much like, well, if I could create the best body that I've ever had during cancer treatment, why can't you? Right? Like for me, I always believe that there is endless and unlimited possibilities, but you need to be there to believe too. So if you are in that place and you have had enough of being in that place and you want to do something about it, DM me and we can have a conversation about it. And if you have any questions, just let me know and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.